is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. The Whale. Got to watch it yesterday. Man, I'm still thinking about it to this day. I wanted to get my review on it yesterday, but, circumstances. But at the same time, available to talk about it now. And it's just everything rolled in one. I feel like BrendanFraser as Charlie. And the synopsis of this movie is a man that's dealt with hardship and loss forced him to have an addiction, which forced him for his obesity, and he's dying basically. And 99 to 100% of the movie is shot in his apartment and just his interactions with people. I forget the caretaker's name. She did a wonderful job. It starts out with them, but it starts off with him being a professor or an instructor and giving excuses of why he can't cam up and web up as he teaches online courses, that he always had an excuse. But his real excuse was, the way he looked. And with this movie, the deliverance, the performances from BrendanFraser, SadieSink, the caretaker, the guy that comes in as far as going that door to door trying to preach, and even the mom. And just by Charlie's actions, it just destroyed a lot. But as Charlie always saw the positivity in other people, but not himself. Even, when he was talking about Alan, this is a spoiler, even when he talked about Alan, he always said, I wasn't the most handsome guy in the room, but he loved me. He thought I was beautiful. So he never had that self-love, that self-interest in himself. He always had that low self-esteem with himself. And the unfortunate accident that happened to his lover and Alan forced him to become this way. And it was so many things tied and tethered together of why he did it. And in the beginning, when he's kind of doing his affairs and the guy stumbles in and he's kind of like trying to gasp for, and he has this guy read this passage from an essay, and it's basically Moby Dick, as an essay about Moby Dick, and it always calmed him and soothed him to calm him down, because he's always looking at it like if he dies, and he always wanted to hear those words before he passed away. And it's very emotional. It's emotional because you see later on where he gets that essay from, which is his daughter. And even with SadieSink, her performance was so amazing because she's just that, you could tell she was just destructive, angry, been through past trauma. Like, it really affected her and how she is. And just to be as ruthless, as mean, as callous to everyone around her, it was the trauma that she sustained from her dad leaving. And like I said, it's so many things that's tied together with depression, mental health, obesity, eating disorder with addiction to eating, and everything within that, like the family dynamic being broken. It addresses with his wife, the shame that it brought on her, and it forced her to become an alcoholic because she looked at it like, man, you left me for a man. And she resulted to getting full custody of the daughter, and the daughter never really had a relationship with the mother. So they always fought and bickered, and that's why they have such a strained relationship where, SadieSink comes in the picture to just go see him. And it's hurtful. It's I cried a couple of times. The last 30 to 40 minutes of the movie, I couldn't stop. And it's that ugly cry. And I yeah, you don't see a dry eye in the room with this. And for BrendanFraser to go through his personal depression to bring that performance through to Charlie is nothing short of awe. I feel like he deserves every award, every accolade, every praise for this performance because it's man, it hits you. And for me, with my father passing away, it definitely tied in a lot of things. Um, with my father aspect and just the circumstances he went through. Some similar, some not, but it's just, you see in a position where they just want at the tail end of their life, they just want others to be happy, or he was always seeking, others to be honest with himself, especially when SadieSink comes to the picture. It changes his perception, but he also needed it, and it changed the guy's perception of, you didn't know if she was here to help or hurt, but he always saw the positive in that, and that's what she really needed to make sure that she was balanced, and she wasn't balanced. So that's why I sit there with this. It was so strong. It was so strong. And, even with his wife, those, you can tell they were in love before that happened. And she really was like her best, like that was his best friend. And, when she sat up under him, was like, I could hear you wheezing. And he just looks at her, was like, I'm dying. And she just has to come to grip with that. And it's hurtful, man. Like, it's so hurtful just to really come into grips with someone that's dying. And it's like, oh my gosh, and that's where you see the trailer is like, oh, if I just want to do one thing right with my life. And I was like, and it's really hurtful, and it's powerful in his performance because the way he says it, the wailing in his voice, the way he's saying it, you can tell that comes from a real place. And from BrendanFraser's being blacklisted by Hollywood and going through that depression with his divorce with his wife, losing everything, that comes from a real place. And to see that shine through his acting, he deserves I'm so really watching the Oscars because I really want to see this man win the Oscars. And even when he got the Golden Globe, I teared up and cried because I was like, man, he really went through it. And some people of that magnitude don't make it out alive. And his message is always to push through. And that's real because, Charlie was in a position where he didn't care how he looked, but he always was trying to help people push through. And to me at the end, it wasn't confusing because I felt like and that was in his mind that he felt like he got up and walked, but I feel like, he had passed away, after the caretaker gave him, his sandwiches, he kind of drifted off into sleep and passed away. But that was just in his mind. He got up to see his daughter. And it was a lot. I feel like I'm gonna revisit this later on. If you ever need a movie that's going to give you that cry and give you those thought-provoking moments in your own personal life, definitely watch this. I feel like this is a A+ movie that needs to be watched by everybody just to understand the dynamics that was in this movie and how it all tethers together. And it's just the overarching love is pain. You have love, and if you love hard, it's going to bring you pain. And especially when you deal with loss. So that's why I tell myself this is something that should be admired by everyone. Everyone did a good performance, but like I said, BrendanFraser overall, man, it's 95%, 98% of the movie is with him. And you see the binging, you see the hurt he has, what made him that way, and just how he was, and it was a lot. It was a lot, but he shined through this movie. He carried this movie. He is this movie, and man, this will be his crowning jewel when it comes to all his movies, from The Mummy to George in the Jungle to Airheads when he started. But no, The Whale will be this man's crowning jewel, as saying that he is one of the great actors, is BrendanFraser. I love it. 5 out of 5. 5 woos if you're Tyrone Magnus fans. Chris Stuckman, A+. Austin Tacular if you're Jeremy Johns. I feel like everyone should be watching this movie. So, you guys enjoyed my review of The Whale. Subscribe to my channel and post a comment down below and like the video. It's your boy, D. Dyson. Peace.